Hello everyone, happy Friday. It is time for a Friday night live video with me, Lena Gersa. I am an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator from Cambridge, Ontario, Canada. And I have for you 3 adorable projects that are simply using stamps, ink, and paper using the super cute Welcome Easter stamp set. Now, I featured this stamp set in a video earlier this week that had some more stepped up cards, and tonight, on Friday nights, I like to do simpler cards to show you just how versatile our stamp sets are and how many cute projects you can make using very limited supplies. Okay, so these are the 3 projects we are going to make tonight. As I mentioned, the Welcome Easter stamp set is in the January to June mini catalog. It is right here on page 45, and it's only $27 here in Canada, okay? It is a red rubber stamp set, okay? And it is a cling mount, so it mounts to your acrylic blocks. All right, we are going to get right to stamping. Hey, Deb, how are you? Hi, Heather. I am going to get my iPad going here so that I can see my comments easily. All right, here we go. Are you guys ready? How are you doing? Did you have a good week? I hope so. So we are going to start with this guy, cute little chickie, and I tried really hard. I am someone who loves lots and lots of bling and lots of embellishments and whatnot on my cards. So when I do these simple stamping cards, it is a really big challenge for me. So I actually am really enjoying doing these videos because it is forcing me to kind of think outside the box and be a little bit more creative. Oh, it's snowing again there, Deb. Oh, do not send it east. Do not send it east. Okay, I guess I should tell you what I'm doing here. This is a piece of Daffodil Delight cardstock. It is cut to 4 by 5¼ inches. And I have this little flower stamp, which is from that Welcome Easter set, and Daffodil Delight ink. So I'm stamping tone on tone to create my little floral background here. Now, I'm not going to worry too much about stamping the entire thing because part of it is going to be covered, but I want to make sure that I kind of get around the edges where the background is going to be visible, and make sure as I'm doing this, I'm not doing a great job, but I want to rotate the stamp, right? I don't want my flowers to all go the same direction. The other thing that I want to do is make sure that I'm going off the edge of my panel, okay? So there is a super quick stamped background. Not warm. Debbie, I am so sorry. I don't know what to say. I am very glad I don't live in Alberta right now. Okay, next we are going to add this little strip. So one of the challenges when you are simply using stamps, ink, and paper is to add texture to your cards. So one way that you can do that is by stamping repeated images on your cardstock. And if you do it in the same shade as the cardstock that you're stamping on, you can get some pretty cool texture effects. So I am going to stamp the Happy Easter. Now I've cut my Happy Easter in half. If you watched my video on Tuesday, you saw that. There is nothing wrong with cutting your stamps in half. It is absolutely okay. Okay. But I'm going to stamp the Happy several times across this Melon Mambo cardstock. I'll give you the dimensions in a sec. But again, you're going to see that I'm taking care to stamp off the edges because I want it to look random, right? And then I'm going to come in with Easter and add stamped Easter images. And then I'm going to come back with my Happy, and I'm just going to add a couple of extras where I had a bit more space. And we'll add another Happy up there. There we go. Stamped background, super quick. Wasn't worried about spacing things evenly. It's supposed to look pretty random. Okay. Now the measurements of this, I think this is 1½ inches. Nope, it's 1 3/4. So 1 3/4 by 5¼ Okay. Thanks, Debbie. You've already got yours in the mail. Good for you. Mine are going out this weekend. So it's good that I'm making some tonight because these are going to go in the mail probably tomorrow. So I'm going to go ahead and glue my Melon Mambo strip onto my Daffodil Delight panel, and it's going to get glued about 3/4 inch from that left edge. So we'll use a bit of liquid glue here. And we're just going to add that. Now again, when you're trying to glue your pieces on, use your grid paper to your advantage. If you do not have grid paper, a piece of graph paper will actually work quite well. if you have some of that in the house. But I love my grid paper because I do not have a great eye for straightness, and the grid paper really helps me out with that. Okay, so there's my background, super quick and easy. Then we're gonna go ahead and glue that onto our card base. Hi Gail, how are you? Oh, you did some surgery on your Happy Easter stamp, Debbie. I am very happy about that. It is much better that way because it's much more versatile. How are you doing, Gail? I hope you're good in Oakville. So this is a piece of Granny Apple Green cardstock. This is gonna be our card base. It's 5.5 by 8.5 inches, and it's scored in the middle at 4 1/4. So we're gonna fold that in half along our score line and crisp it up with our bone folder. And then our panel is going to get glued on with an equal border all the way around. You'll notice I'm using Tombow. I have not run out of fast fuse, but I am getting dangerously low. So I am rationing like crazy. All right, so there is my base. Next, I have a couple of squares. So these are 3-inch square. The white one we're going to do some stamping on. The green one is going to sort of create a backdrop for our white one. Okay, they're going to go kind of like that. So we're going to do some stamping on this one first. Before we stamp, we're going to add a little bit of sponge color. So I'm going to bring in my Granny Apple Green ink pad and a sponge dauber. Now you can use any kind of sponge. You can use a makeup sponge, whatever you happen to have in the house. And I'm just going to take, and in a circular motion, I've got cat hair in this ink pad. Go figure. Oh, the cats in my life are making it very interesting these days. It's been an interesting week in this cat house of ours. All right, so now I just sponged a little bit of ink sort of on one corner because this guy's going to go on cockeyed. Okay, it's not going to go straight, it's going to go cockeyed. And then I have this little stamp that looks like little tufts of grass, and I'm just going to take and stamp that over top of the area that I've sponged. We're going to do this on a couple of the cards that we're going to make tonight. Now, you could stamp first and then sponge. However, the challenge with that is that when you sponge, you're going to smudge the stamped image just a little bit. Okay, so if you want that look, it's fine. I prefer to sponge first and then stamp over top, and it gives me a nice crisp stamped image. All right, so let's get that out of the way. And then we are going to stamp our little chickie. So I, again, really wanted to do a whole lot of coloring on this guy, but I thought, well, we're trying to do simple stamping. So we're going to stamp in Daffodil Delight ink on a scrap of Daffodil Delight cardstock. Okay, so that way we don't really have to color our chick. He's already yellow. I'm going to show you how we're going to add a little shadow and a little bit of depth to him in a minute. But first, we are going to do some fussy cutting. So I've fussy cut several of these little chicks out lately. You also saw me do one of them on the video on Tuesday. When you're fussy cutting, you want to make sure you have good sharp scissors, and you want to do your best to move your paper more than your scissors. Okay, by moving your paper, you're going to get nice smooth cuts. Your blade doesn't really have to move too much. You kind of move the paper around the blade, and that will give you cleaner, smoother cuts when you're fussy cutting. It is a bit more of a challenge to fussy cut images stamped on colored cardstock because the colored cardstock is a little bit heavier weight than Whisper White. So it is a little bit trickier to do, but it is not impossible. So I am taking care, I'm not being super careful. You'll notice that I'm leaving a little bit of a border around my stamped image as I'm cutting. That's something that I kind of prefer to do. The main reason being, if I make a mistake and cut too close, it's easy to go back and fix it. Okay. If I don't leave a border, if I make a mistake, it's a lot more obvious and it's harder to fix. So this little foot down here, I'm not even going to try to cut around his little leg there. I'm just going to kind of go around his toes and call it done. Okay, it's really quick and easy to fussy cut that little guy. And then before we glue him on, we are going to add a little bit of shadow. Hi Barb, hi Martine, how are you guys doing? So I'm going to take a sponge dauber with Daffodil Delight ink, and I'm going to add some shadow to sort of his bottom end because, well, that's where the shadow would be if he was kind of out in daylight. And then I'm going to add a little shadow just sort of around the sides of his head and under his wings. And that's just going to add a little bit of interest to our chick. Okay, give him a little bit of depth. All right, there he is, done and done. So cute. All right, we're going to finish assembling this guy. So I'm going to glue my green square on first. This is Granny Apple Green. It's the same color as the card base. So I'm going to go ahead, actually, I'm going to pop that up. I'm not going to glue it flat. I'm going to pop it because everything's better popped, right? Right. All right, let's get rid of our backings here. How are things where you are, Martine? I know it's not a very great situation anywhere in Canada right now. I hope you are keeping safe. I hope all of you are keeping safe. It certainly is a crazy time in world history. Okay, so I've glued my green square on. I'm going to add a little bit of glue to the back of my white square, and this one's going to get glued flat on top of the green, okay? And I'm going to offset it just a little bit. All right, I want to take care that my corners don't go extending off the side of the card base, okay? And then this little fella is just going to go right here on top, like almost like he's kind of hopping up on the grass. So we're going to add a couple of dimensionals to him and pop him on there. It's almost like he's walking, balancing on one foot. And then we're going to stamp our sentiment. So here, or not, maybe I forgot to give myself a strip. Hang on. This is why we keep our handy little trimmer close by. Okay, so I am going to cut a Whisper White strip that is 3/4 of an inch wide. Okay, and get out of the way, little trimmer. There we go. And we are going to stamp our Happy Easter. Now this one goes straight across. I could remount this so that they were right side by side, but I'm just gonna eyeball it and hope that I get it straight. Oh, your Easter promise stuff came. You are going to be a very busy lady stamping all of those cards. That's awesome, Gail. Okay, so I have my Happy and my Easter. Okay, stamping those in Melon Mambo ink. And then I'm going to bring back that little flower stamp that we used on our background and add a couple little flowers just on either end. Okay, now you could put this on straight like that. I like to trim them into a little banner, so we are going to do that. You have 7 with the virus in the region, do you, Martine? Well, I hope you are staying safe, staying indoors, staying home, and stamping a lot. Because that is the safest place to be for all of us right now, is at home in our craft rooms. Okay, so I'm going to show you, now you've seen me use my tailored tag punch to do a banner end, but for those who do not have a tailored tag punch, I'm going to show you how to get an even banner. So you're going to snip in the middle of your strip as far in as you want the V to go, and then you angle your scissors from one corner to where that snip ends in the middle, and then the other corner. Okay, and that's how you get a nice even banner end. Okay, all right, so this is going to pop up on here. We're going to add a couple of dimensionals. I'm actually going to put them on this piece because it's actually going to go across like that. So we're going to get those backings off, and we're going to pop this on and hope we get it straight-ish, kinda like that. Okay, quick and easy, done and done. Hi Margie, how are you doing? Now on the inside of this one, I stamped a few more little flowers and then another sentiment from the Welcome Easter set. Okay, super quick, easy peasy, easy to mass produce Easter card. Okay, all right, so let's move on to number 2. I'm gonna get a couple of things out of the way here. We don't need our little chickie anymore. The rest we do need. Okay. So let's bring in number 2. Number 2 is this adorable little lamb. I absolutely love this lamb. He's just the cutest little guy ever. And his little bow tie just makes him so, so sweet. So we are going to do a similar technique to what we did on the first card for our grass. And we're also going to sponge a sky background. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So I'm going to pull out a couple of inks. We will start with our Granny Apple Green again. We're going to sponge the grass. So again, I'm using a dauber. You can use whatever you happen to have. A makeup sponge works. A cellulose sponge doesn't work so well, like a cleaning sponge, because it's a little bit too porous. A Q-tip will work, takes a little bit longer, but it will work. There's all kinds of possibilities for sponging. You do not have to have sponge daubers. I just like them because they keep my fingers a little bit cleaner. That's the only reason I use daubers. Okay, so there is my sponge grass. And then I'm going to bring in my grass stamp again. And I'm going to add a few little tufts of grass here and there for my little lammy to sit on. Okay, super simple. Now to sponge my background, I'm going to use some Coastal Cabana ink. So all of the colors that I'm using tonight are from the Brights color family, okay? That's good. I'm glad you are staying home, Martine. It is not a fun situation, but that is the best place to be, for sure. Okay, so I'm going to lightly sponge my sky, okay? So I don't want it to be quite as solid green as the grass. I want it to look a little bit more like sort of a cloudy sky. So I am going to just lightly and sort of randomly, I'm not going quite so perfect circles as I'm doing this. See how I got a little, you always want to make sure you blot off your ink before you come onto your paper. And I didn't do a good job of that there, and that's why I have a little round circle there. So I'm just going to try and blend that out a little bit. But there we go. There's our sky. Okay, I'm going to add just a little bit more here along the bottom. There we are. Okay. I'm not trying to be solid. I want it to be kind of wispy looking. Okay. All right. Oh, you could do a nice banner cut, Heather. I just showed you how. You can totally do a nice banner cut. I challenge you to do a nice practice this weekend. Okay. I'm going to clean my Happy Easter stamps here because we are going to stamp them in a black ink. So I'm going to use Memento black. It's kind of my go-to black for everything. And I'm going to stamp my Happy sort of up here. And then my Easter, I'm going to offset a little bit and stamp it below, just like that. And then we're going to stamp this adorable little bumblebee. I absolutely love this little stamp. He's so cute. We're going to stamp him right there. He's kind of flying up. Okay. Oh, I'm going to leave that open because we are going to stamp our little lamb. So here I have a scrap of white cardstock, and we are going to stamp our little lammy in Memento black. And the reason I'm using Memento black for him, not only is it my go-to black, but it's also the one that you need to use for coloring with Stampin' Blends. Now, I tried to resist. I could have left him all white, but I decided he really, really needed to have black ears and black feet. So I brought in my light black Stampin' Blends, and I colored his little feet, each one of his little hooves, with the light black. This is hard to do when you are not looking straight down on it, let me tell you. There we go. And then I did his little ears. And his other little ear. And his nose. Okay, that's it. That's all you really need to color on this guy. Like I said, you could really only color his bow and be good. And then for his little bow tie, I'm just going to take a little bit of dark Daffodil Delight and give him a little yellow bow tie. This marker is getting quite frayed, so I'm having to work a little bit harder than I should with this, but you get the idea. Okay, isn't he cute? He's so, so cute. Okay, so then we are going to fussy cut him out. This guy's actually, I think, a little bit easier than the chick because he doesn't have little teeny tiny chicky toes. His shoes are a little bit easier to navigate around. And again, I'm not being super careful. I'm just kind of allowing the space around his ears and whatnot. I'm not gonna try and be really super precise to color around his ears, or cut around his ears. Again, just because, well, first of all, you don't want to watch me do that, and secondly, it's not necessary. He looks totally cute with a little bit of a white border around him. Now this one is a little bit farther away from his head, so I'm gonna trim around that guy and then get around his little feet here. Just like this. So what are you guys doing to keep yourselves busy while we are all staying home. I hope you all are getting a chance to stamp. If you're like me, you are probably having a hard time focusing. I am having a really hard time actually sitting down and getting anything accomplished. There is a color called light black. Yes, there is, Martine. It is right here. Light basic black. It says right there. Hard to believe, but it is. It's actually really a dark, dark gray. Okay, so there's my little lamb. I forgot to color my little bumblebee, so I'm going to give him a little bit of Daffodil Delight love. There we go. And then, just like on the last card, we're going to pop our little lammy up. Give him a little bit of dimension here. And he's just going to sit in the grass just like that. Okay, and then we're going to layer him. So this piece of Whisper White was cut to 3 by 4 inches. Okay, and then I have a piece of Coastal Cabana that is 3 1/8 by 4 1/8. So we're going to just layer that on there. So we'll throw a bit of adhesive on there. And center that on our rectangle. And again, the nice thing about the liquid glue is it does give you that wiggle time to get it nice and even and straight. Okay, then we're going to set that aside and we are going to do a little bit of stamping on this background piece. So this piece is Granny Apple Green. It is cut to 3 by 5 1/4. Oh, Heather, you're having trouble with focus too. I totally get it. It's taking me 3 times longer to do things right now. Things that would normally take me an hour are taking me 3 hours. It's crazy. It's just weird how stress changes the way your brain functions. All right, so as I said, this is Granny Apple Green. It's 3 by 5 1/4 inches. I've got this cute little leaf stamp, which is part of the stamp set as well. And again, I'm going to do a little bit of tone-on-tone stamping on my background panel. So I'm just going to add, whoopsie, some little leaves. And again, I want to make sure I'm turning my stamp so that they're not all going the same direction. And I'm not stamping this quite as densely as the last one, just because I want a little bit less of a busy pattern on this one. And we'll add a little guy up there. The big thing when you're doing this is to make sure that you fill in those little bits that are coming on from the edge, okay? That's what makes the piece look like it has motion and movement. It's a design element. Again, it helps to anchor the pattern, okay? All right, so I have here a Daffodil Delight card base. It is 5 1/4 by 11 inches, and it's scored in the middle at 5 1/2. Oh yeah, you're having a hard time too, Deb, eh? It's a strange thing, isn't it? Like, it's just so weird. I am usually a very focused and driven person. Like, I have no problem getting a whole lot done on my to-do list. But right now, I feel like I'm completely useless. It's crazy. All right, so I folded my card base in half. Before we go ahead and add our panels, we're going to add a little bit of shadow to the card base. So all I'm going to do is take a sponge. I'm using a dauber here, but again, you could use anything you like. And I'm sponging some Daffodil Delight ink onto that Daffodil Delight card base. So I'm just going all the way around the edges. It's just going to add a little bit of shadow, a little bit of interest. So this is just another little technique. It darkens down that background a little bit and just is another way to add interest when you are working with really limited supplies. So think outside the box for ways to use your ink beyond just stamping, okay? We are using Wink, Debbie. Don't you worry. Last card, we're using Wink. I don't want you to worry about me. I know my brain isn't working quite normally, but I have not lost my love for Wink. It's all good. Hi, Debbie Colby. How are you? We got lots of Debbies on tonight. So we're going to add a little bit of adhesive to the back of that green panel. And this time I'm going to glue this so I have an equal border, top, bottom, and left side. Okay, so it's equal border on these 3 sides. And again, I'm going to try and get it straight. And then this little guy is just going to get glued centered on the front of the card. So I'll just pop him on like that. Super, super quick. And we are done. Is that straight? Sure it is. Straight enough. Okay, there you go. Isn't that cute? So, so cute. Now again, on the inside of this one, I did a little bit more grass on the inside, added that cute, I love the font on this sentiment, and then another little bumblebee because he's just so, so cute. Okay, isn't that sweet? I know, isn't he cute, Martine? I love him. Love him. Okay, last card. Look at us flying by. I tell you, these simple stamping cards go so fast. I love them. Okay, this is my favorite one. I love this little Easter bunny. Did I say that about the last one? I might have said that about the last one. I love the little lamb. I think the lamb is my favorite stamp, but I really like this card because I really love the colors in it. Is that okay? Is that fair? I can love all of them, can't I? I hope so. Okay, I'm going to get rid of a couple of stamps that we do not need anymore, just so that I don't screw up here. We're going to get rid of Lammy. We're done with him. We're done with those markers. Okay, here we go. So to start, we are going to create another background. So we're going to do some sponging and then some stamping, just like we did on the last couple cards. So we're going to start with our Granny Apple Green. Where did I put my Granny Apple Green? Did I put you away, Granny Apple Green? Where did you go? Oh, hiding. Hiding up here underneath my memento. All right, so I'm going to grab my sponge dauber again, and I'm going to sponge kind of the bottom third of this panel. I will give you the dimensions of this in a second. I do not remember off the top of my head, so I've got to get my ruler and measure. I think it was 3 1/4 by 4 1/2, but I have to double check. So we're just going to kind of sponge about a third of the way up. Okay, I'm going a little bit darker towards the bottom and a little bit lighter up here where it's going to blend with the next color. All right. Okay, so that's my, oh, before we do that, let's stamp some grass because the ink pad's already open. Save me opening it again. So we're going to stamp some little grass tufts. I love this little grass stamp. It's just a quick and easy way to create a scene, right? All right, so there's that. Next, we are going to add a little bit of Gorgeous Grape. I love this shade of purple. It is gorgeous, so it's aptly named, right? Okay, so we are going to, now I'm not going to go super, super dark with this. This is really quite a dark purple. I don't want to go quite that dark. I'm going to go keep it a little bit lighter. And I'm just going to come across, again, circular motion. This dauber is not in good shape. That's why I'm not getting very even coverage. I'm getting those little lines. It's because the dauber is kind of worn out. I need to replace it. So we're just going to add a little bit of Gorgeous Grape here. Okay, I'm not going quite as heavy as I did with the green. And then we're going to come in with some Coastal Cabana. So I love this color combination for Easter. I think it is the perfect Easter color combo. So Granny Apple Green, Gorgeous Grape, and Coastal Cabana. Such a fun Eastery color scheme. So we're just going to come on, again, circular motion, blending this out, and I'm going to go a little bit heavier with the Coastal Cabana. First of all, because I love this color. And secondly, because I want to blend it a little bit with where it overlaps the Gorgeous Grape. There we go. Okay. Super quick and simple sponge background. Now I'm going to come in with my little flower stamp again. I think I better clean it. It's got yellow ink on it. And we're going to start at the top with our Coastal Cabana, and I'm just going to stamp some flowers. So I'm going to stamp my flowers in Coastal Cabana on the Coastal Cabana portion. Okay. I don't want to do the whole thing in Coastal Cabana because I'm going to actually switch to Gorgeous Grape when I hit the Gorgeous Grape area. So we'll just add, okay, so there are Coastal Cabana. Then we're going to switch to Gorgeous Grape. They are such springy colors. I love them. Hi, Leith. Hi, Irene. How are you guys doing? Okay, so we're going to add some Gorgeous Grape flowers here. Look how cute that is. I love this background. This little flower stamp is really adorable. There we go. Look at that. So, so cute. So cute. Love it. Okay, that is going to get layered. Now let me just double check my dimensions. Was I right? 3 1/4. Yep, by 4 1/4. 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. Okay, those are your dimensions on that one. And then our Gorgeous Grape panel is going to be 1/8 of an inch larger. So this is going to be 3 3/8 by 4 1/8. Okay, and that's going to get layered just like that. So we'll throw a bit of Tomo on the back of there. And we're going to add that just like that. You know what this color reminds me of? It reminds me of the blue hydrangeas that you get, this color scheme. That sometimes you'll see both of those excuse me, both of those colors in the blue hydrangeas. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Or am I just losing my mind? Please tell me you know what I'm talking about. I think that's why I love that color scheme so much, because I really like hydrangeas. Okay, now I've just got a scrap of Whisper White cardstock. I'm going to take my bunny stamp, and we're going to ink them up with our memento again, and we're going to stamp them just down here somewhere where I have room to fussy cut them. That looks good. And before I cut them out, we are going to just add a little hint of pink. So this is Light Flirty Flamingo. We're just going to add a little hint of pink to his ears and to his little nose and to the bottoms of his feet, just to give him a cute little accent. You could leave him totally white. I actually used to have an all white bunny. His name was Thumper, and he lived in our backyard. And one day we used to let Thumper out of his run to hop around in the yard. And he was usually pretty good about, just staying pretty close and not going too far. But he would gradually start to go farther and farther away and get harder and harder to catch each time, until finally he decided to go under our shed and not come out. Well, a few weeks later, we suddenly saw a whole lot of little baby Thumpers running around in our yard. Thumper had found himself a wild bunny girlfriend. And, he did what bunnies do, and we had lots of baby Thumpers, white bunnies running all over our yard for the longest time. It was, as kids, we thought it was great. My parents were not too thrilled, but we had lots of cute little white bunnies running around. So we'll call this guy Thumper. And we're just going to cut around him. So same idea. We're going to leave a little bit of a border so that if we have little oopsies, we can go back and fix. And cut him out. So do not be afraid to fussy cut your images. I know some of us do not like fussy cutting, but the more you do it, the better you get at it, really and truly. And I guarantee you, if you have a good pair of scissors, you will like it a whole lot more. All right. So don't be afraid to invest in a good pair of scissors and try fussy cutting, because it really is not that bad. It is not hard to do. I wouldn't do it, if I was making 20 of something and had to fussy cut all of them. I probably wouldn't do that. Although now that I've said that, I have actually done that for swabs, but not something that I would do on a regular basis. Okay, so there's my cute little Easter bunny. That's Thumper. And we are going to just pop a couple dimensionals on the back of him. Hi, Ann. You like hydrangeas too. Good. I'm not the only one. That's good. I'm glad to hear that. Hey, sister. How are you doing? And we're going to add our little bunny. There's little Thumper sitting on the grass in the backyard. And before we glue him down, we are going to do a little bit of stamping on our card base. So again, this is the same dimensions as the last one. It's 4 1/4 by 11, scored in the middle at 5 1/2. So we will fold in half along our score line. And then we're going to do a little bit of stamping along the bottom edge. So I'm going to clean this flower stamp again. And we're going to bring back our Coastal Cabana ink pad. And we're going to stamp just sort of along the bottom third of our card front with these little flowers. Just to add a little sprinkling of flowers. And again, a little interest to our background here, so that Thumper has a cute little background to sit on. Okay, so there is our background. Now we can go ahead and glue Thumper right on there. So we're going to crisp that up because I didn't do a very good job the first time. And we're going to go ahead and glue that down right on there like that. Okay, so we'll add a little bit of Tombow. And we're going to pop this guy right on here like this. And yes, I'm upside down. Sorry for those who it bothers. That's just the way I roll. And we'll flip this around. Now he's not upside down. Isn't he cute? All right, we're going to do our sentiment. We're going to switch up the sentiment. We're going to use that Have a Wonderful Easter stamp set, or sentiment rather. I'm going to stamp it on just a little 1/2-inch strip of Whisper White in the Coastal Cabana ink. So we're going to just stamp that on there, just like that. And just like we did in the last one, we're going to trim a banner end. So Heather, you'll want to watch this, okay? So I'm trimming it to the length that I want. And then I'm going to snip in the middle of my strip as far as I want my little notch to go. and they go from one corner into the notch and the other corner. Super simple, okay? So it is very hard to kind of eyeball it and go like actually cut like this and like this without that center slit as a guide, okay? That's just giving you a visual guide so that you know how far in to cut on each side to get it even, okay? There's our Have a Wonderful Easter. Now that is going to pop up right across the top. So we'll add a couple of dimensionals here. And get rid of our backings. Come on. There we go. And we'll pop that right across the top like that. And hopefully that's relatively straight. Okay, and then Deb, this is for you. We're going to add a little bit of Wink of Stella because the Easter Bunny's magical, right? So he deserves a little sprinkling of magic from Wink of Stella. So we're just going to do a little flicky flicky. You probably won't be able to see this on the video, but trust me, he's a magical, sparkly little Easter Bunny. So, so cute. Okay, I'll just show you what I did on the inside again. I kept it simple. I just left it for lots of room for writing a message and added some flowers along the bottom. Okay, so that is it. Super quick, easy. Let me bring them all back. Super quick and easy Easter cards. All right, using that adorable stamp set and just stamps, ink, and paper. Okay, these would be great ones to make with kids. Really great ones to make with kids. Okay, everybody, I hope you enjoyed those. I hope you have a great weekend. I hope it warms up for you guys out west. I can't imagine. Yeah, well, I hope it doesn't come our way. It might, but in any case, try to get outdoors and enjoy some fresh air. Be safe, stay well, and I will see you again on Tuesday. Bye for now, everybody.